What's going on, you guys? Links Forte here to bring you, I guess you could call this an update video. I just really want to talk. This video is titled Past, Present, and Future. I guess you can call me, in a sense, in this video, I'm going to be an open book, just about a bunch of different things. Let's start out with why I started YouTube. So, back in X and Y, when those games came out, I was really hyped. I didn't play 5th gen. I played 4th gen very little. It was more like with 4th gen, it was, hey, here's the story. Oh man, I'm so happy these Pokemon got evolutions. These were some of my favorites back in the day. Then 5th gen came out. I was in college. Didn't really have time to play 5th gen. I think I did play it. I bought it and played it, but I didn't really have time to dive into it. Towards the end of college, there were some online games I was playing with, or not online games, sorry, fan-made games and homebrew games, like, on Poke Community, a bunch of different games over there. I dabbled over there a little bit. And then 2013 came out, X and Y announced Megas, and you know what, I got hyped. I was happy to see some of these Pokemon, get some more love. Get some refound love, I guess you could say it was. And I was excited to play those games. I had just graduated and I was interested in seeing, what these games could be. And you know what? I went out, I bought a DS, a 3DS, and then I bought the game. And when you look at it, it was a used 3DS. I want to say it was... Let's say it was like $120. I don't remember the actual price. And then you say the game, I just dropped $160 and I beat the game. Now what? I didn't want to just, pay $160 and not get my use out of this. So I decided to learn about the competitive scene. I didn't know at the time that doubles was a thing. I was just like, man, I don't really like doubles. Even within the games, I was never a fan of doubles. So I learned Smogon, and, in the beginning, I was just like, man, why are there so many restrictions, yada, yada, yada. And the more I learned, the more I understood certain things. Not saying that I agreed with everything. Even to this day, I don't agree with a lot of things. But there was just some things I had to learn and kind of understand. Then, I went to GameFAQs because GameFAQs.com, that was a website, like, as a kid, man, like, dang, GameFAQs has been around for a long time now that I'm thinking about it. But as a kid, GameFAQs was a website I went to if I didn't know how to get past something, or if I wanted to see like some like codes or something, like to unlock something, or get some extra gold or money or whatever game, just to get some codes or whatever. So I went to the forums there, and it was really helping me learn. And I got a lot of battles in, I got a lot of experience in, but I was still new. So then I found out about Serebii.com, and I jumped on those forums and learned a little bit more, got into a lot more competitive, and then I, basically got a lot better. So I did Serebii websites for about 2.5, 3 years exclusively. Man, is that right? Yeah, I think it was like 2.5, 3 years. Like, I started in GameFAQs, and I did both for a while, and then GameFAQs sort of like just wasn't doing it for me anymore. So then I jumped to Serebii just exclusively. And then, you had Oris come out. I was still on I was still on Serebii. I really wasn't messing around with GameFAQs at that point. Towards the end of Oris, 2016, actually, it was about the summer of 2016. Someone that I knew from Serebii was starting a YouTube channel. And, he was talking about getting a capture card. I was like, yo, this would actually be kind of dope. So I'm going to get a capture card too. I ended up getting my capture card before he did. But, I was just like, and this was the time. Actually, let me rewind a little bit. Back in GameFAQs. So X and Y still. We're still talking X and Y. While I was on GameFAQs, we started doing tournaments. Me and like 2 other people on that site, we were hosting like weekly tournaments or something, like Sunday night tournaments or something. get, say we get like 8 people or 16 people, and we host a tournament for Sunday, and we give out prizes. Like, one of them, I think the top prize, or maybe the only prize to whoever the winner was a, I don't want to say it was always 5 IV, but it would be a shiny. They could either have a shiny Pokemon that was probably 4 or 5 IVs, or they could have a non-shiny Pokemon that was probably 5 or 6 IVs. So, that's what that was. And then at some point, we started, I started just getting away from that and going to Cerebi exclusively. Fast forward to 2016. Like I said, this is probably the end of ORAS at this point, the summer. That's when I started my channel. I was already doing, I had done draft leagues back in 2014, and then I did another one in 2016. That was on Cerebi. I did that one for like 3 seasons, and that was probably over the span of like 9 months, and it was a pain in the ass. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you're in the playoffs, or that league just finished its regular season, the playoffs hasn't started, and they're already drafting for the next season. I'm just like, can we finish this season? But whatever. So we go to 2016. I'm still in the last season that I did with that league on Cerebi. And I uploaded, I think, all of those battles, maybe. But did all of that. And then I was like, all right, man, I want to step it up. I want to get some different competition, because just being in one league that many seasons, I was like, hey, that's cool. I want to meet some more people, though. So I started searching on Twitter and YouTube, just like different draft leagues. Maybe I could find something. And then I came across my boy Kyle Lay's video, and he put a video out for someone else, and he's like, hey, if you want to join a draft league, I don't remember if it was a Showdown league or a Wi-Fi league, but he was like, yo, if you want to join a draft league, I think he said message him on Twitter or message him on, I don't remember how I messaged him, but I want to say I messaged him on Twitter, and he was like, yo, man, like, that league's already full. I was actually doing it for somebody else, yada, yada, yada. I think this was, in fact, after season 1 of P4G. It was like, this was probably maybe September-ish. This was after season 1 of P4G, right? So I was like, cool. He was like, oh, join my Discord server. So I joined his Discord server. I didn't know he was a streamer as well on Twitch. So after several months, talking to him, being in his Twitch calls, or not his calls, but just in his streams, chatting it up, making him laugh a little bit, we became really cool. So you fast forward to after X and Y come out, and this is 2016 still. So 2016, I think the real reason why I started my channel was not just because someone else said they were going to do it, or not because I wanted to join other leagues that were upload required. Those were part of it. But a bigger part of it was my job. This was an outlet for me. This was a way to have fun, because my job, not that it was stressful, it was a pain in the ass. I was working for this small company. When I got hired there, right? Okay, so this is the situation. 2013, I graduated. Took me almost a year to find a job after graduation. And the reason why I graduated a degree in marketing, and a lot of the jobs that people were offering me were sales plus commission, or it was a sales commission job, just 100% commission. And I'm just like, I'm not doing 100% commission. I want a base. I want some kind of guarantee. Like, I can't come out of college without that guarantee, not knowing how to sell anything. That's just the way I looked at it. And so it took me a year to find a job. And the first job I actually took was it was a part-time job, I'm not going to say the name of the company. I really don't even want to give like what the job was, but just say it was a part-time job. And I was basically answering phones and setting appointments. So you could say I was a appointment setter, back of the house kind of thing or whatever, right? Then a month later, I actually, like probably 2 weeks into that job, I got another phone call from a much bigger company. This is a very well-known national brand within the US. They were like, hey, we have a job for a sales position. And I'm just like, I really didn't want to do sales. I didn't even remember applying for the job. And I did. I believe I'm almost positive I did, because that's what made sense. The job, the company where it was really close to my house. So it only made sense in my head for me to have actually applied. But I just didn't remember applying. For all I know, I had applied 3 months ago and just wrote that off. But they called me and I was like, I went to the interview on the days I had off from the other job, and they offered me a position. And I was excited because I was going to be making good money. There are a lot of good benefits and, a lot of potential to move up and do other things. Like, do this sales position for X amount of months and then go into another department. And what I actually wanted to do was marketing. So that was my plan. But I wanted to keep the other job because I knew I would not like sales. So when the time came, I went to my manager and said, hey, listen, this is what's going on. And she was just like, this like, cause she had offered me a promotion, because the agreement was when I got hired there that I would do that appointment setter position for a month. And then I would get bumped up to front desk and basically handle sales. And she was just like, oh man, this is a huge opportunity you're giving up. And I'm just like, I just told you the name of this company and you're going to play this as if this company, this small company that I'm working for now, is better than this one I'm potentially going to. And I'm like, I still want to work here. I'll do it on weekends. I was willing to work 7 days a week because the other job was Monday through Friday. And I told her, I was like, listen, I'll do Saturdays and Sundays and stay in the same spot. Like, you don't need to bump me up to the front desk. But all in all, she didn't want to do it. She found a replacement almost immediately. Like, no lie. When I say immediately, when I walked out of her office, she called someone else to come in for an interview that same day. And I was pissed. So I was like, whatever, man. I put my 2 weeks in before I walked out of her office, and I didn't even get to finish my 2 weeks. The very next week, I called her and was like, hey, what's my schedule for this week, or something like that. And they're like, yeah, you don't have to come back in anymore. And I'm like, all right, cool. You don't want to tell me to my face? All right, bye. Anyway, I go work for the bigger company and I'm loving it. The money's good. The people are good. Then I basically get out of my sales training, and now I'm on the floor with everybody else that's been there for however long. And this is where I knew I would hate, because I'm no longer getting anyone to help me or, basically guide me. And so when I came out of training, I had no manager. They put me on a team, but I had no manager. About a month later, we finally get our manager. And then a month after that, he's like, hey, I'm going to this department because that's what I wanted from the beginning. And I'm just like, okay. Then we get a new manager from a different branch a month after that. And then she has a completely different way of doing things. And honestly, I just felt like she didn't like me. Because I'm the type of person to ask why. You can tell me to do something, and I say, why this way? Why not this way? I wonder why not doing it another way. I just don't take anything for face value. I really didn't feel like she liked me, and I really didn't care. And it came time for me to get out of my probation period. And it was at that point where it's like, I wasn't happy. They didn't like my numbers. So we, quote unquote, mutually parted ways. And this was in 2016. I said 2016. This was in 2015. Right? 2013 is when X and Y came out. I got the first job in 2014. So yeah, I got this job starting in 2014 and I left in 2015. A couple months doing some little side jobs with a temp service. They eventually got me with another company, and it's like, hey, they need someone to do just this one thing for a week. That one thing turned into like 3 weeks while I was going on other interviews for, long-term things. And I think they eventually realized, like, look, he's going on 2 or 3 interviews a week. Well, it wasn't that many. It was like, I was doing like maybe one. Sometimes I think I did 2 one time, but in a 3-week span, I had gone on like 5 or 6 interviews. And they were like, listen, he's going on all these. This is what I believe in, that I was going on all these interviews and they were losing a good worker. And so they eventually offered me a permanent position, which I was ecstatic after what I had just gone through and being in this position for I don't know how long. Like, I was happy. And the best part about it was I was going to be doing marketing. So I was happy. It took 2 years almost to the day from the day I graduated or I'm not going to say I graduated. Yeah, it was about 2 years from the time I came home, graduated, whatever. And I was happy. They gave me my title, what I would be doing, and things were looking up. And so, couple months into it, I want to say about 4 months into it, they fired my manager. Or at least I believe they fired him. I don't think, like, he just left. And I don't know what the conversation was, but this is what I remember. There was a meeting between the COO, for those that don't know, that is the Chief Operating Officer, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer / owner, and my manager was the marketing manager. I believe there was a 4th person in there. I'm not sure. I just remember him walking out of that office one day and just leaving. I didn't think anything about it. And it was like, whatever. Somebody had called me into their office because with my marketing job, the place I worked at was run by, I was the youngest person by far. I was, between me and the next youngest person, there was about a 15-year age gap. So the age gap between, me and everybody else was huge. So I was the youngest person, the more technological savvy person, if you will. So if somebody needed help with something, they would call my phone, message me, or whatever. So yeah, I saw my manager walk out, didn't think anything of it. And then somebody called me into their office and asked me to help them with something. And I was helping them, right? And on this lady's computer, we saw an email come through. And so we saw the tag. I can't remember exactly what the tag was, but she opened it. And then all we read in that email, because she read it, I don't go through people's emails, but she pointed to the screen telling me she wanted me to read it. So I read it, and it says, person has, I don't remember the exact terminology, but basically it said he was no longer with the company. And me and her are looking at each other like, what just happened? So basically this happened in February. Also, it's let me say this part. So there was one other person, this person that had been there for, actually, sorry. There was one other person closer to my age. I think she was like a year or 2 older than me. But the week before, or the week of my manager being let go, was her last week there. And I believe the rumor was that he was let go because he failed to keep her from going somewhere else. That was the rumor. But whatever. So fast forward, basically this happened in February. Between February and August, right? I spent those 6 months looking for a new job because I'm no longer in a marketing department. I now answer to the Chief Operating Officer. There's no marketing department. She claimed for the longest of time that she was going to be looking for a new marketing manager. She hired one. That person turned out to be very, very, very incompetent. And just like, okay. And then let's put it on top of this. Nobody knew what I did. My title was Internet Advertising Specialist. What does that sound like? You do advertising on the internet. Like I said, Between me and the next youngest person outside of the person who left, it was about a 15-year age gap. So people just didn't know. And whatever. So again, the 6 months between February and August, I was looking for a new position. In this time, my friends had come to me and was like, mind you, this is 2016 at this point. So, like I said, in 2016 is when I started my channel. I'm at this job where I'm not happy. I'm looking for a new job. And I needed an outlet. So that's when I started my YouTube channel. And at the same time, a couple of my friends came to me and were just like, hey, we're planning this cruise. You want to go? Hell yes, I want to go. I need this. So we planned it for the end of September, early October. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, so I started my YouTube channel in that summer while I was looking for a new job. And like I said, this was my outlet. I was posting battles while I was doing that league. And ended up going on the cruise. That's when I came back from the cruise, that's when I started looking for other leagues and things like that. Like I said, I found Kyle A's channel and became cool with him. And November 3rd, 2016, I walk into work, turn my computer on, set my stuff down. I get everything pulled up. Phone call. Yeah, I think at this point I was going into work at 9 something. In August before the cruise, the COO who I was working under decided she no longer wanted to do that full time, so she became a part-time advisor. So now who do I answer to? I now answer to the CEO, who has very little time to try and figure out what's going on with marketing, which means it now falls on me and the salespeople. I just lost 2 managers in the span of 6 months, 7 months, whatever it is. Not only I'm not happy, I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to have a job much longer. And that's how I looked at it. So I go on my cruise, and my friends know this at this point. The cruise was just a release. It was 4 days, I think, 3 or 4 days. I just needed to get out. Fast forward, like I said, November 3rd, I think I was going into work at 9 o'clock. So 9:05. Let's say that's the time. I get a phone call from the COO asking me to come into her office, right? She had a glass window with blinds. The blinds weren't always closed unless, if she was in a meeting, they were closed. Otherwise they were open. And this time they were open. And there's one other person with her. It's the office manager. And I'm just like, I feel like this isn't good, because the weeks leading up to this, the office manager was asking me how to do certain things about my job. And like I said, I felt this coming back in August. And they let me go. She was like, basically, I don't know what to do with you. So, November 3rd, 2016, I was let go from a company, that basically gave me new life. And didn't know what to do. And this is funny to say, the only bright side to being let go on that date is I think we were literally a week away from Sun and Moon being released. So I was able to pick those games up and play it immediately and put it on the channel. I got a lot of new subs from there. I think that's when I broke over 100 subs. Maybe even Arceus, when I did the Arceus codes is when I broke 100 subs. But I got a lot of new subs when I did the Sun and Moon LP, and that was the highlight of my year. Like, honestly, because I spent 10, 11 months looking for a new job. And that was the highlight of my year, being able to play Pokemon and release it and, upload the videos the day the game came out. December, I was still looking for a job. But it's like December is a weird month to look for a job because people are just like, hey, it's Christmas. It's almost the new year. We're not going to be hiring anybody unless you're in a specific, unless, you're looking for a seasonal job or you're in a very specific, field. So December, basically I didn't look for a job. So, fast forward, I was with a temp service at this point though. I kind of burned a bridge there because there was a job that I was doing, right? I did a job for like 2 days and I told the guy, I was like, look, this drive, I can't make this drive. Nor any other time of the day in the morning, that drive will be 20 minutes. But because I had to be there at a weird time, like, so most jobs I've had, I would have to be there at 8 o'clock. Except for the job prior to this one. It started off at 8. It started from 8 to 5. And then the CEO or the COO, when I worked under her, she was like, no, I need you to come in at 9 o'clock when I get here. I'm like, what the? Okay, whatever. Back to when I burned this bridge with this one agency. I told the guys, like, look, this drive, because I had done it for 2 days, and I was like, this drive, I can't do it. My first day on the job when I was supposed to be training, I was like, oh, it's not going to be a bad job. Let me leave a little bit early because I like to get places on time. I like to get to places a little bit early and just get this cool down moment, right? So I get there, but it took me, I barely got there on time. I think I was supposed to be there at like 8:30. I feel like 8:30 was the right time, or maybe it was 9 o'clock. I don't know. But I'm going through a high traffic area. And I got there with like 2 minutes to spare. Like I'm walking through the door as it hits 8:30 or 9 o'clock, whatever time it was. And I don't like that. If I was sitting in my car for 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and then walk through that door right at 8:30, 9 o'clock, cool. That means I had time to wind down in the car. I didn't have that time. I got there with 2 minutes left, walked through the door, and it was 8:30, not whatever time it was. So the next day, I left really early. I left at like 7:15. Let's say I was supposed to be there at 8:30. I left at like 7:15. I got there late. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, what time do I need to leave? Like, if I leave any earlier than what I was actually leaving, I'm going to be sitting in this parking lot for way too long. And it's going to annoy me because I'm losing out on sleep and different things like that. And you know what? The simplest solution is say, oh, well, can't you just go in? No, I can't go in before that time because there's no one there before that time. Like, maybe a couple people walk in, but they're not going to be there at 8 o'clock because the schedule was 8:30 to, I think it was either 8:30 to 4:30 or 9 to 5. Let's say those were the two schedules. So it was just a hassle. And I really think I burned the bridge with that service, that agency, because they called me one other time, maybe twice. And it was one, and I told them I do not want a sales position. But they called me with a sales position. I'm like, I just told you people don't want a sales position. I didn't say it like that. But it did annoy me that they would call me with a sales position, even though I said, I don't want this. So I didn't hear back from them for a while. And this time, let's say this is end of January, right? I went to go visit a friend for a few days, hung out with him, trying to clear my head. My cousin called me with an opportunity to get a couple bucks in my pocket. So I drove to Atlanta, Georgia. Worked with him, learning what he does for his job. And basically came back home and was like, all right, man, it's time to go find something. So I was looking online. I found a couple job fairs. I called, and then I was looking at temp services. There was one service I used when I was in college to try to get like a summer job, but they would never find me anything. Like I would never get a call back from them. But I was like, you know what? They have another branch. Let me go to this branch. So I called that branch. They were like, yeah, just fill out this online application, and then we'll set up an appointment for you to come in and fill out some paperwork and stuff like that. So they ended up calling me, and they wanted to do it a certain day at a certain time. And I was like, listen, can we push it back in the same day, but can we push it back up by a couple hours? Because I was planning on going to this job fair that's, like 15, 20 minutes away. They were like, yeah, that's no problem at all. And so I went to the job fair, nothing there of note. I was considering working for the police department in the city because, those are great jobs to have depending on what it is you do there. And then I went to the temp service later that day. And they were like, you know what? I think I have something, but let me pull the paperwork. She started telling me about the position, but she was like, she couldn't guarantee anything. She was like, let me see if they still need people. So, I filled all my paperwork out. I went home. The next day, she called me and was like, hey, are you interested in this position that I was telling you about yesterday? Yes. The job sounds amazing. She's like, okay, well, it pays X amount of dollars. And I'm like, awesome. And mind you guys, all in this time, I'm still doing battles and uploads. I think at this point in time, I had joined the major Pokemon League. And so I was doing my battles there. But I'm starting to find a new job. So now I have a new job. And at the same time, I'm playing Pokemon, which is my outlet. Like, I'm happy. I'm in a good place. And then I joined the IBO because they needed a replacement coach. I'm like, okay, cool. And then Kyle, like I said, I had been really good friends with Kyle. He messaged me and told me, like, yo, apply for MPA analyst. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Like, the way I looked at it, this was a step to move up. And because at this point, I'm just like, yo, like, the more leagues I'm in, the more notoriety I get. Maybe someday I can start making money off of YouTube. Just for you guys who don't know, I don't monetize my videos. I make no money off of YouTube. So, eventually I got into the MPA analyst. So I have a new job. I have MPO, I have IBO, and I have MPA analyst stuff. My plate is loaded. Oh, on top of that, I was doing a freelance job for a company. So I have 5 things on my plate at this point. And the freelance job became very hectic. Like Pokemon I was trying to use it as my outlet. But when you have to work with other people, it becomes very difficult sometimes. So, anyway, major PO ended, IBL ended, NPA ended, that freelance job had ended a while back. So now the only thing I'm doing is working. And then Kyle was like, getting ready to start P4G. So he put me in P4G and I'm like, man, this is going to be great. So, obviously the big thing of note was that A-Drive joined P4G. Then we did that for that summer, basically. And there's nothing of note to talk about there. But, like I said, I'm starting this new job. I'm still working this job and then P4G. Then fast forward, I started doing an LP. And then I finished that LP. Let's say I want to say I finished that LP in October. Maybe like end of September, early October. I can't remember. But I finished that LP. But while I was doing the LP and finishing up P4G, I had an old friend come knocking at my door. So this old friend was an ex. And without giving too many details, me and this ex basically screwed each other not while we were dating, but in the point to where we were considering getting back together. And there was many years in the point of considering getting back together. And in these many years, we screwed each other over. Mine probably a lot worse than, well, not a lot, but a little worse than hers. But it basically made it to where her and I didn't talk for about 3 or 4 years. But then we ran into each other because one of my friends came into town, or one of our mutual friends came into town, brought his fiance over because he had just gotten engaged. So, and she happened to be there. And then we talked and decided we would hang out one day. So we ended up hanging out, and she asked me one night, she's like, would you ever consider getting back together? And I was like, I don't know. So, fast forward to after the LP, I ended up meeting So I started hanging out with this one guy. I can't remember where I met. I met him at a basketball park, or just at a park on a basketball court. Sorry. And started talking to him a little bit, hanging out with him, meeting up to play basketball. And one day he was like, "Hey, I want you to come to such and such place," and he invited a lot of his friends. So there was this one girl I ended up meeting, and she was real cool. And I was like, "Yo, like I think I'm gonna pursue her instead of getting back with my ex because new is better." And so I started talking to her, and let's just say that didn't work out. Her and I are friends right now, but us dating, it didn't work out. Or it wasn't going to work out. We never dated, but it wasn't going to work out. So fast forward to the Sun and Moon release, Ultra Sun and Moon release. And right before the release, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to LP this, because I would have to binge it like crazy and try to get those episodes up, because like the previous year I wasn't working, but this year I am, so I can't really just play and upload as I'm going through it. So obviously I didn't upload it. I think it was right before Christmas or right after Christmas. I uploaded an update video about that. But me and Under the Radar, Kelly, we were talking and we decided we wanted to do like a P4G league, D-League, because, we didn't know who all would come back. Like, we weren't sure if A-Drive was going to come back. We weren't sure if Chase was going to come back. John was going to come back. Some of the bigger names, we weren't sure if they were all going to come back. So we were just like, let's do this D-League. And this was just a me and Kelly idea. We were like, yo, what if we do this D-League this way we have, because if you guys don't know, when we had the P4G, Kelly had to step down because of his health reasons. Like, Kelly was working, I think he said he was working like 60 hours a week on top of going to school full time and then trying to do league battles. I think he was in like 2 leagues at that point. I can't remember. But he was sick. And Kelly looked really bad, and like we felt for him. So it was like, if you have someone like Kelly step down, I think Bub had to step down because of his job. So, we had those 2 coaches step down, and we were, P4G was a democracy. So basically everybody was asked, who do you want to fill in? So we had names that we all contributed to. And ultimately it ended up being Greg filled for Kelly, and then Kelly came back to fill in for Bub when Bub left. So, like I said, in November, I want to say it was before Thanksgiving in the US. So it was like 2 or 3, it was like right after Sun and Moon released, Ultra Sun and Moon released, maybe like the week after. So Kelly and I were talking about it, coming up with the details. Then we went to Kyle with it, and Kyle was like, yeah, let's do this. Kyle was like, to be honest though, like, I'm going to let you guys run it, because he was just too busy with other things. Like, Kyle's YouTube channel blew up in Sun and Moon. Like 2016, it blew up. So, he was doing all these other things. He was trying to stream more and whatever else. So this was a me and Kelly thing. Me and Kelly came up with everything, and, we did everything. Then we dropped the application on December 1st. We were going to let that ride for an entire month, but we got impatient. And so we picked the PNG Pokemon for Glory Next Generation people about 2.5 weeks later. Then they drafted, and then, this was the thing. I had so many plans for Next Generation. I was going to make sure the Twitter was very active with them, which I did in the beginning. I was going to personally, just me by myself. This was not something I talked to Kelly about because I do what I want. I was going to do like an analyst type video for them every week. But the thing was, like, I didn't know at the time. I was debating between weekly picks or power rankings, which it probably was not going to be power rankings because I don't know how I would feel about doing them, because I don't know. That's just me. But I was planning on doing something for them to make sure it went on the channel. And then January hits. back at this point, my ex she never left the picture, so I was still talking to her, but I was talking to her a lot more at this point. And then also at this point, like, my job was, it was getting a little hectic. Like, people were complaining about possibly not getting a bonus, and to the point to where our managers, like, our department managers, our department managers gave everybody out of their pockets, like, just some money for Christmas. And it was just like, I felt bad, like, for them to have to come out of pocket because they don't even know if we're getting paid. So, that happened. And then eventually we did get a bonus from the company. But, and what ended up happening was, for us to not get a bonus, that means we don't get raises. And that's what really kind of bothered me, is like, everybody on my team was happy that they got their bonus, but I'm like, you guys didn't notice we don't get a raise now. Like, this is the way it's going to work. And it annoyed me. So anyway, at this point, I'm also, like, right after Christmas or right before Christmas, I joined APA, and then we drafted. And I think, I don't remember when UBL applications went out, but I remember applying for it, and I did that, and I got into UBL. So now I'm at the point to where, and NPA was already established. So I was, before UBL was a thing, it was supposed to only be APA and NPA analyst work. So I'm like, you know what, this isn't a big deal. It's something I can manage. Then UBL, I got into that. And then the person who was going to be lead analyst stepped down. I don't know what the reason was, but he stepped down. And so I was asked if I wanted to take over. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, man, I'll do it. So I was like, okay, man, I got to make sure, everything is ready to go before the season starts. I got to make sure all my analysts are in place. I got to make sure, all the analysts are, they have their graphics and whatever else they need. I got to make sure they know what series that they're doing. I was trying to be on top of my game for myself. So, basically being in 3 leagues, 2 leagues I was playing in, one of being an analyst, a lead analyst, and I tried to manage it all. And even before this, man, like, life was just becoming hectic for me. I want to say this actually you could probably say it goes back to 2016, when my manager from that one job got let go, and then I was let go towards the end of the year. It probably goes back to that. Just my body was not reacting well to it. But anyway, so I do APA, I do UBL, and I do NPA, and it's whatever. But before NPA started, I had someone come to me and it's like, listen, and I'm having problems at home. I can't manage, to do NPA and this as well. And I'm like, all right, man, no problem. You take care of home because that's more important. I will never tell anyone to put a game before anything that comes into personal life. Man, you could tell me, yo, like, I have this show I need to watch. I'm like, yo, as long as you have something ready to do, I'm not going to tell you to not go watch that show. Like, as long as your stuff is going to be on time, I'm not going to tell you to not watch that show. Because you know what? I have my shows I watch too. Just make sure everything is important. But when it comes to something like family, friends, job, fuck a game. All right? So I told him, go, you handle what you need to handle. I will find somebody to make sure that this goes off. And I went to this person. I went to somebody, and basically it was a no. I'll get to that later because there's something else I want to talk about, but I'm going to end with that. So I went to that person, and I went to somebody and they couldn't do it, or they wouldn't do it, I should say. And then, this is basically, it was analyst after analyst saying they couldn't do something. And it's like, dude, what the hell? So I went to Joe, the NPA commissioner. I'm just like, look, I have people who can't do it. So he him and Elliot both found people that could do it. So I was really grateful for that, because I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. Fast forward to now, me making this video. Or actually, let's fast forward to this past Friday. It is Tuesday when I'm recording this. I'll probably release this video Wednesday afternoon while I'm at work. So it's a scheduled video. Fast forward to this past Wednesday. When you guys are watching this, it's the 14th today. So that day was March 9th. March 9th, I'm gonna give you guys some insider knowledge about stuff. I had my battle A drive for APA that Friday, that March 9th. That battle will be up on Sunday. So I had that battle, and not a problem. So Kyle was streaming right after I had that battle, or maybe he was streaming while I was having that battle. I don't remember. But I jumped into his stream and was there for a little bit. And then I started watching basketball. Actually, no, I had my battle with Dan right when I came home from work. Then Kyle started streaming. And then I jumped into his call for a little bit. And then a basketball game came on that I wanted to watch. And so I told him, I was like, yo, man, I got to go. I'll go watch this basketball game. And then probably like 10, 15 minutes into the game, one of my friends came over. And I had no idea he was in town. This is one of my friends I've known since I was like, how old was I? I want to say I was like 13 or 14. But I've basically known him for half my life. So he came over and, we watched the game together. And the game went off. He looked and turned to me. He's like, yo, you all right? I'm like, dude, I'm good. I was like, why? You look sick. I'm like, dude, my team did just lose. He's like, no. You look unhealthy. I'm like, what? Like, no. So, like, I'm just trying to tell this man, like, I'm fine. And he's like, don't lie to me, man. Like, I know you. We've known each other for too long for you to bullshit me. And so he's like, what's up? So I tell him everything. I was like, so he was like, yeah, man, you need to take a break from everything. You need to figure shit out. Do what you got to do, but you need to work on you. And so this is where we are. I'm stressed as all fuck. Basically, between my job and me being a little worried about what the future holds with that. NPA analysts, APA battles, even though that season's almost over. I mean, it's 2 weeks left in the regular season, potential playoffs. And then UBL, I think we're about 4 or 5 weeks left with that. I just have a lot on my plate, man, and just like, all right, so what do I do? And all in this moment, I don't know what I should do. And I asked him, what do you suggest I do? He said, honestly, this is no longer, like, what you're doing is no longer your outlet. This is an unpaid job. And I've heard my entire life, a job you don't get paid for is a hobby. And a hobby is supposed to be fun. And I'm stressed the fuck out. So when he looked at me and told me, you look unhealthy, I had to take a metaphorical look in the mirror and try to figure out if I was really unhealthy. And you know what? My health has been going bad for 2 years. And it did not start with YouTube. It started with my manager being let go in 2016. That's where all this shit happened. And so here we are 2 years later from that spot. And I don't know. So I have a decision to make. And at this point in time, I need to do what's best for me. So I have to step away from YouTube. I have to step away from Pokemon. I'm going to still be around on Discord, but I got to step away from this shit because I'm not having fun. I need to be happy. I need to not be sick. Like if you guys remember Kelly's video when he just said he was sick, I don't look like that, but I feel like that. And I tried to manage it, man. I tried. And I just can't manage it anymore. So that's what I gotta do. I gotta step away. You guys will still get the APA battles until the season is done for me. UBL, before this video goes up, they'll know that I'm dropping that season. I'm dropping this season. NPA was already informed a while ago. Honestly, man, I don't know about P4G. I gotta talk to Kyle and see what the potential start date for P4G is. I just want to take some time to get healthy. If the start date as far as drafting is in April, because I've talked to him about potential start dates, so I don't know. But it won't be for a while. Like, we're not going to do it while APA is going on. So if the drafting day is in April, I may have to miss. I may have to skip out. If drafting is going to be in May, I may be ready for that. But if I do P4G, that's going to be the last league I'm in. If I do P4G, I'm done with YouTube after that. If I decide not to do P4G, then the last few battles of APA is it for me. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, if you guys want to click off the video after that note, go for it. Because I just left on a sad note. And this video is already 52 minutes long. And I have one more thing I want to talk about. So this is going to be over an hour-long video. So if you want to click off, go for it. I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Alright. So for those who are still here, specifically to those in the Pokemon Draft League community, I got some shit to talk about. So if you're still here because, you wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, just know you're about to get a pissed off Lynx right now. So I'm going to actually turn the volume down because I've been really loud this entire time. Alright, so for those that do not know, and I've already gotten the okay to talk about this. For those that do not know, and for those who do know, Bill Standish is not going back to P4G next season, even though he is the champion. The reason being is that he pissed off a lot of people during the season. I'm not going to say which people. It's not my place to say. Bill has already talked to Kyle about it, so Bill knows. I think he knows the people. He knows a good chunk of them. I know that. I don't know if he knows everybody, but he knows a good chunk. Bill asked me if I was one of the people upset with him. I told Bill no. Apparently the conversation was had between Bill and Kyle. That Kyle asked the council, should Bill come back? And I guess the vote was no. Bill asked me if I was on the council. I told him I don't know. Because at the time, I did not know if I was going to be on the council or not. Kyle had mentioned it to me. Matter of fact, Kyle mentioned it to me last season because I was doing the doc that he was going to put me on the council. I told him no. Didn't want to be on the council then. Because I didn't feel I had a right to be on the council. So he mentioned it, that he was going to put me on the council. Didn't know how that was going to, I didn't know if that was actually going to be a thing or not. So I was like, whatever, man. You know what? I'll do it next season. Cool, whatever. Anyway. he asked me one day, he was like, yo, would it be lame? And this is how you know Kyle said it, because he used the word lame. He said, would it be lame if I didn't invite Bill back? And I said, can I? And I asked him why though. He was like, he rubbed some people the wrong way. I was like, you know what? As the champion, he deserves to come back and defend his title. But depending on who he pissed off, I completely understand if you said Bill can't come back, because you don't want to piss the wrong people off. Just in general, you don't want to piss the wrong people off. So, and one of those people you don't piss off is Kelly. Because I talk to Kelly on a regular basis, damn near daily. Kelly knows I piss him off on purpose, but at the same time, Kelly doesn't get pissed off because he knows what I'm doing. But I know when Kelly's going to get pissed off. So I stop. And that's one thing you don't do. You don't piss off certain people. You shouldn't piss off anyone in general, but there's some people you just don't piss off. So that's what I told Kyle. I was like, as the champion, he deserves to come back and defend his title. But if he's pissing a lot of people off, and especially the wrong people, then I understand if you don't want to bring him back. And that was the last I heard of it at that point. Later, a few months down the road, Kyle decided, he was going to message, because he was getting things ready for P4G, as certain coaches who he was going to come back, or who he was going to bring in. At this point, me and Kelly are already doing PNG. And also, back to what I said earlier, for the guys in PNG, let me just say, I 10,000% want to apologize to you all. I meant to give you guys so much more support. And as you heard this entire thing, I just didn't have it in me. I didn't have the time and other things like that. So I really do apologize to all 16 of you. Now, back to this thing with Bill. So Kyle was getting to the point of he's getting ready to start, or he's making preparations for P4G. He messaged, I know of two people he messaged that he wasn't going to bring back. I'm not going to say this. Bill was one, obviously. I'm not going to say the other one. But I don't know if he messaged anyone else. I can't remember if he even told me. But yeah, so he messaged Bill, and rightfully so. Bill was upset. He wanted to know why. Kyle told him why, that happened. And so Kyle basically told him, you pissed off some people. I don't know if he told him who. I don't think he told him who. He knew. I think he knew he pissed off Kelly. I think he knew that. So, they had their conversation or whatever. And then, that happened. And this was all in the middle of me getting stuff ready for NPA analysts. And that's when the person said, they had personal problems. Or they were having family problems at home, so they couldn't do it. I went to Bill. Because Bill was a backup analyst. Bill came into the P4G as the backup analyst. So I went to him and I said, hey, I just had an analyst drop. Can you fill in? And then he said to me, what series? I said the weekly picks. And I said, you could do it however you want to do it. Like, if you want to make it like just, you just say some picks or whatever, you do whatever you want. Obviously, you're a graphics artist. You can make the graphics, whatever. And he was like, can I have Cap and Levo? And I said, no. Had he just said, can I have Cap? I would have said, let me check with Joe to see if it's okay to bring in another analyst, which I'm almost positive Joe would have said, yeah, it's okay. You're a lead analyst. You can bring in whoever you want as an analyst. So I would have said yes if he had just wanted Cap. But he said Levo. Anyone in the fucking Pokemon community knows you do not ask to bring in Levo for any fucking thing. So you know what? I said, Bill, are you fucking serious right now? I don't know if I said fucking, but like I said, I'm pissed off. So he said, I don't remember if I said, are you serious? And he just like gave me a laughing face. So I was like, are you going to do the show or not? He's like, can I have Captain Levo? No. And then he says, then no. I'm like, all right, fine. I don't give a fuck at this point. So I go to look for somebody else. This one I went to ask Elliot for help. And I told him what had just happened. So that situation happened. Mind you, this was after Kyle told him he wasn't going to be in the next season of P4G. I had no problem. I even talked to Bill because Bill asked me if I had done anything, or if he had done anything to me. And I told Bill, no, I had no problems with you in P4G. And I think this may be a situation because now I may be understanding. Bill, you are a good person. You are smart, dude. You have a long future in you as a graphics artist. Dude, you are going to do shit outside of YouTube when it comes to this graphic artist shit, alright? But you got to know when to be serious. Because if you weren't being serious when I asked you that shit, you pissed me the fuck off. But you know what? I don't hold grudges. I don't have time to hold grudges. I don't have time to hold grudges. I don't have time to hate anybody. Because it's stupid. Why waste my time to do that shit when I could go be doing something else? But anyway, if that's, like I said, I don't know 100% the reason. Because the council voted on that, and I wasn't in the council at the time. So, that being said, that is all I know as far as Bill not coming back to the P4G. I believe that is the reason, is because Bill doesn't know how to be serious when he needs to be serious. And he pissed off Kelly. Like, let's just leave that out there. He pissed off Kelly. I'm not saying Kelly had the end-all be-all decision, because nobody in P4G has that power. Bill knows that there's always a vote for things. Like when we brought when we brought people back in, or when we brought Greg in to replace Kelly when Kelly first left, that was a vote. Actually, sorry. I think there were like 3 people that left. I don't remember who the third person was because we brought Elliot in. And I don't remember who it was. But whatever. Elliot came in, that was a vote. Greg came in, that was a vote. Kelly coming back, that was a vote. That was a unanimous vote, though. But Elliot... Oh, Levo. When Levo left, it was a vote to bring Elliot in. And then when Kelly left, when Levo got kicked, that was a vote to bring Elliot in. And then when Kelly left for health, that was a vote. That was a vote to bring Greg in. And then when Kelly came back for Bob, that was a unanimous vote. Everything is a vote. We voted on everything. I think the only thing we didn't vote on was the tiers, but that was something that happened in call with like 10 of us. And we talked about it. So, there's a vote, dude. But Bill, like I said, you're smart, you're talented. You just have to understand. I get it, dude. You're 18, 19-year-old. And you like joking. I like joking around too. The difference is you got to know when to be serious. Like Bill, man. Like everybody, honestly, we got to stop this shit. Like everybody got to stop this shit on spamming Twitter, blasting Kyle, because it's not a decision. So don't blast Kyle on, like, I get it, man. You guys are pissed off at Kyle. You know what? Be pissed off at me too, because that's what I told Kyle. Bill deserves to come back, but if he's pissing people off, then no. That's what I told Kyle. So if you want to be pissed off at him, be pissed off at me too. Don't give a fuck. Man, if people left when I was sad, they're probably crying. I'm glad I turned off the likes and dislikes in the comment section for this video. Anyway, I'm gonna go get healthy and I'm gonna go watch some basketball. APA battles will go until the season's done. If I come back for P4G, I don't know. I do still plan on doing these tutorial videos as far as docs are concerned. Anyway, thank you guys that are still here for this 1 and 5 minute long video, to basically the entire reason why I started YouTube to why I'm leaving YouTube. I'm gonna get up out of here. Again, thank you guys for watching. This is Lynx Forte. I'm out. Peace.